Hello everyone, I'm Gary York, True Prison Stories. Thanks for watching. Today I want to talk about a coward's way out. And please let me know if you've had any of these things happen to you, because I'm going to give you two short versions of what has actually happened to me at one time and my wife at one time. And I know it's happened to other officers across the country where you've had a situation go down. You look behind you for your backup or your partner who was with you at the time. Backup is on the way. But in a critical moment, you need that partner to be with you, and they're gone. They're just gone. They're vanished. So that's why I titled this A Coward's Way Out. The first scenario I'm going to talk to you about happened with my wife. She was working. We both worked at the state prison for many, many years, and then we both went to the sheriff's department to work in the jail over there, and to finish our careers over there. And she was in a jail pod, in a women's pod, and she had a partner with her. And there was another female detention officer in the control room. And she's walking through the pod doing her checks, and as happens many times in a jail, even with the officers in the pod, a fight breaks loose. And these two females start to fight, and my wife goes to break up the fight. Now all the other females are gathered in a circle. My wife's in the middle. She's trying to break up these two. She has called for backup already, but as you know, those first few seconds are very critical. Many officers can get injured in those first few seconds. She's kind of using her peripheral vision to see where her partner is. Well, her partner's gone. Gone. The control room officer had seen this incident go down, was observant, saw my wife alone now. She witnessed the other female officer leave. Just took off, left. Well, what do you do in a moment like that? You know backup's on the way, but you know that she's in there by herself. The control room officer took a trash can and propped the control room door open. Now this is a situation where the inmates can't get in. You're not supposed to prop the control room door open, but what do you do when a fellow officer's in need? Backup hadn't gotten there yet, so she gets the key from the key box for the pod. There's a pod on the left, pod on the right. She goes and gets the key and props the control room door open, because she doesn't have a key to the control room that she can use on hand immediately. And she runs in to help my wife, and she grabs one of the females by the collar, and my wife grabs the other by the collar. Anyway, they got the situation under control. Backup did arrive just about the same time control room officer went in. But the point of this story is where it was her partner. Well, we're not going to give names, and we're not going to give dates, and we're not going to give exact locations, but a lot of people heard about this incident, and they nicknamed this female officer Scary. Every time they saw her, there goes Scary. Nobody wants to work with her anymore, and they do work with her because they have to, but they know that in time of need, this officer will not be there to back them up. Well, Officer Scary, I think, started to sense this, and she started looking around for other jobs within the department. And she did get a nice, cushy job at another division. I can't name the division, because if I do, it'll be pretty obvious, and I don't want to do that to somebody. Even though a coward, I think, should be put out there, but I'm going to be a nice guy today. And she got a cushy job at another place, and they had her inventory a lot of supply rooms and inventory supplies and rearrange offices, and I thought, what a nice reward. You're a coward, and now you don't have to be with the inmates anymore, and you get a nice cushy job doing little details for administration, because you're good friends with a high-ranking person. We've seen that before, haven't we? Anyway, that's story number one. Now my story. I'm in a dorm feeding, and we've got the food cart in there, and there's me and another officer. The inmates are lined up. We've got the inmate orderlies, two of them there, or trustees as we call them in jail, orderlies in prison. We've got the two trustees there. One is pulling out the trays handing the tray down to the other inmate, and that trustee is handing the trays out. Well, I'm right there at the trays, watching the tray go from hand to the inmate, and the other officer's just a little further down, watching a little bit by the exit door, watching to make sure that everything's okay. So surveying the dorm, making sure nobody tries to steal a tray, hide a tray, and say they didn't get one. You know how that goes if you've worked in a jail or a prison. And next thing I know, an inmate second in line drops, boom, passes out and falls down. I immediately try to move everybody away. I call a medical emergency, and I'm over this inmate trying to see what's happening. And then I realize he's having a seizure. So we know when they have a seizure, we don't touch them. We move everything away, call our medical emergency, get medical down there as quick as we can. But I'm trying to get the inmates back, because you know when an emergency happens, all the inmates run. They want to see what's going on. I look around. He's gone. My partner's gone. Just totally out of the dorm, not even in there. Now I'm bent down trying to hold the head so that the inmate having a seizure does not bang his head against the concrete or hurt himself. Just sliding my hands kind of up near the shoulders and the head, making sure he doesn't bang his head, waiting for medical. I need my partner to move the inmates out of the way. Tell them to get back and get back in your cells. We have a medical emergency. Help me clear the dorm so that I can take this medical emergency. Well, I look around and the food cart's also gone. So he did take the food cart out, which was a good move. He did get the food cart out immediately, because now we're going to have a lot of people swinging for trays, you know. We have a medical emergency, now they can go try to swing some trays. So he got the food cart out, and he got the 2 trustees out, but he never came back. So the incident goes on, medical arrives, they come, I do my incident report, and I confronted him. I said, man, where were you? I had a medical emergency in there. You're supposed to stay. Great, you got the food cart out, you got the trustees out, that's good. But where were you to help me get the inmates cleared out so we can handle it? Oh, I figured you had it under control, so I just went on with the trustees to the next pod and started feeding. Now he's feeding by himself, which staff shortage, that happens a lot. But when you do have the opportunity to feed with 2 people, you want to feed with 2 people. But anyway, I don't understand sometimes where our partners are in those situations when we have partners like that. Where are their heads? Where is their thought process? The time I need you most, you are gone. A coward's way out, maybe, that's what I call it. I was very disappointed when that happened in that time, and it made me feel bad, because I didn't expect that from this particular officer. In my wife's situation, the word was kind of already out that this person was a coward, but that just proved it even more. So folks, I'm getting a lot of comments and from folks that are just going into the academy, getting ready to go, or they're in their academy, or they're brand new, and I appreciate those. They're saying that my video helped them. And so this is for in the academy, getting ready to go in the academy, brand new, old, I don't care if you got 30 years in, because both these officers I spoke of weren't new at all. If you're going to join to be a corrections officer, there's a lot of things that go along with that. And one of them is courage. One of them is backing your fellow officers 24/7, no matter what. If you think, look, inmates are going to be stronger than us. Many times we're dealing with inmates way stronger than us. But that doesn't mean you run off. You help your fellow officer. If you have to jump on their back and hang on their neck and hold them down and swing, even if the inmate's swinging you around like a rag doll, you better do that to protect your fellow officer in a time of need. And if you don't have to do that, you better still be there to help clear the area and help your fellow officer. I'm telling you right now, if you can't do that, maybe you better think about another career. And I know that sounds terrible. We're short of staff. But unlike some places that hire anything that walks and breathes, I would rather have quality correctional officers than ones that are going to run away, avoid work, and when the going gets tough, they run the other way, a coward's way out. So just a few things I wanted to mention there. Have you ever had this happen to you? Have you ever had someone run on you in a critical situation? We know what happened in New York when a captain was being beaten. 2 captains ran. I know they were demoted down to officers or sergeants, and I think later gone from their job. But we don't need the cowards, folks. Think about that and back up your fellow officers every day of the year, every minute of the year. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you like this video.